guys, welcome back to my channel. So I think I mentioned in my postpartum update videos, as well as if you watch my weekly vlogs, then you'll know that we encapsulated Hugo's placenta. For those of you who don't know, I have a 7-week-old. I recently gave birth now almost 2 months ago, and we did placenta encapsulation, and I've had a lot of questions about what placenta encapsulation is, how it works, how I found someone who does it, and what benefits there are to doing that. And I thought I would sit down and kind of go through all of those questions and try to talk as in-depth as I can about the process and how I've enjoyed it, how I liked it, and kind of answer some of your most pressing questions about placenta encapsulation. I'm just gonna be straight up with you guys. I filmed this video a few days ago, and for some reason my head just wasn't in the right space, and it was so hard for me to like get my words out, and things just weren't connecting, and I feel like I just was doing a pretty bad job at explaining the entire process. So I wanted to sit down and refilm this video for you guys, but I finished my placenta pills a few days ago, and so currently I don't have the pills to show you, and I don't have the jar to show you, but when I filmed that video a few days ago, I still had the pills and still had the jar. So later in the video, I will cut to some of those clips where I show you guys the pills in the jar, just so you can get a feel and understanding of what the pills actually look like, because I'm sure that also is a huge question of people, like, what does placenta encapsulation actually look like, and what are these pills going to look like? So I will definitely insert those clips, but just so you know, you're not like, wait a second, you look totally different in that last clip and now you're wearing a different top. So let's chat about placenta encapsulation and what it is. So placenta encapsulation is sort of exactly like what it sounds. It's the encapsulation of your placenta. So the idea behind placenta encapsulation is the placenta is sort of the nutrient powerhouse. It's the nutrient hub that your baby's connected to in your uterus while your baby is growing. So while your baby's growing in your uterus, they're connected through their umbilical cord to the placenta, and the placenta is how they get all of their nutrients. So when you're eating, when you're taking your vitamins, your nutrients from the food you're eating and from those vitamins travel through your body, they go into your placenta, and then through the placenta they travel down into the umbilical cord to your baby. Now listen, I am no doctor, nor am I a scientist, so like that is probably not like the most graceful, perfect way of describing it, nor is it like the most scientific, but that is, I think, in a nutshell, like a very like layman's terms, like how your baby gets their nutrients. So the idea is that when you give birth, your baby comes out, your baby is still attached to the umbilical cord. Then you have to birth your placenta, which is something not a lot of people talk about, but it's also like a nice fun little thing that you get to do after however many hours of labor. You birth your placenta, and then that placenta, for a long time, I mean, I think in modern Western society, and again, like I'm not 100% sure, I'm not a historian, but I want to say that for a long time, the placenta was probably thrown out. Recently, there's been sort of this movement to keep the placenta because of all the nutrients it delivered to your baby and all the nutrients it still has. So I'm sure, like, rewind 100, 200, 300 years, this is probably something that was done when there wasn't as medical an approach to birth. But I think over the past 50 years, it's something that sort of went away a little bit, and now recently it's making a comeback. And sort of like midwives and doulas, you know what I mean? Like that sort of very grounded, natural approach to things. And so what they'll do is, after you birth your placenta, the idea is that you want to keep it, dehydrate it, and then put it into pills, like ground it up and put it into pills. That way you as a mom can take those pills, and those nutrients, that like amazing cornucopia of nutrients, doesn't go to waste. You can take it, it can then get delivered back into your bloodstream and help with like the healing process of your body, but then can also travel and infiltrate your breast milk, and then therefore get transferred back to your baby. So that's the idea behind placenta encapsulation. Now, in terms of benefits, I imagine that the benefits are such like vitamins would be. Does that make any sense? So when you take vitamins, or at least when I take vitamins, because a lot of people have said, like, can you feel the benefits of taking the placenta pills? And like, have you noticed a difference? For me, it's been very much like taking a vitamin. When I take a vitamin, I don't necessarily feel a huge difference unless it's like a crazy B vitamin and I go from having no energy to like all of a sudden having a bunch of energy. But in terms of just like a regular, let's say prenatal vitamin, I don't notice a difference. I don't notice a difference when I take it, and I don't notice a difference when I don't take it. However, I'm pretty convinced that when I take it, I'm introducing more vitamins, like more nutrients into my body, and therefore it's a better thing for me. It's a better, healthier thing for me. And so that's how I sort of approach the placenta pills, because I will be so honest with you, before we decided to do it, and even when we decided to do it, I didn't really do much research. And maybe that is like not the best thing. And I would totally advise you guys to do your research. If this is something you're into, like look up the benefits, look up any pros and cons. But from the talking I did with my doula and with my aunt, who's a registered nurse, and just other friends, I wasn't coming across any negatives. So again, it was like vitamins. It's like, well, there's no cons to taking this. There's just those like amazing benefits. And even though I don't feel the benefits, I just kind of have to trust that it's working its magic and doing its thing. And if it's something that can benefit my baby, then why not? Do you know what I mean? Like if those are extra nutrients, extra really great things that I could transfer to my baby through my breast milk, then why wouldn't I do it? Even if I personally don't feel any crazy huge difference. So I didn't really look into it. I just decided, you know what, this is something I want to do. This is something I trust in. This is something that I trust is a good decision, if that makes sense. So my best friend is a doula, was my doula for my whole prenatal and birthing experience, and she knows a woman who does placenta encapsulation. So here's my advice. If you want to do placenta encapsulation and you're looking for someone, I would say go through a doula or go through a midwife or ask your doctor. Because it's not a very common thing, it might be hard to I guess you could Google it. You could Google like placenta encapsulation near me. A lot of doulas though might know people, like might have people in their circle who do that. Some doulas may even do placenta encapsulation, or some midwives might do it, or your doctor may know someone who specializes in that. And I just always prefer and like going through people that I know, if that makes sense. I feel like those channels always offer me the recommendations and the references that make me feel better versus just like blindly Googling someone. But if you don't know any doulas or any midwives, then I would say Google a midwife center near you. Or again, you can always ask your OB and ask like if they know anyone who does placenta encapsulation. I would say last resort then just like Google placenta encapsulation near me, because obviously it is a very delicate process and it needs to be a very sterile process. And so let me talk a little bit, and again, I'm no expert, but I'll talk a little bit about the process of placenta encapsulation, or at least what the woman had explained to me. So I went through my doula, and my doula had recommended this woman who does placenta encapsulation. We had a phone consultation where it was completely free, and she explained to me how she goes about encapsulating the placenta. So my doula got my placenta, like after the baby was born, she was there, and she took the placenta and this sounds crazy, but like in a little thermos, like a little lunch plastic thermos. And normally if you've hired someone to encapsulate your placenta, they will come to the hospital and pick up the placenta for you. I would highly recommend making sure that either the person who's doing that or a doula or a midwife is going to do that for you, because that's going to be literally the last thing on your mind. And after you have a newborn, regardless of what type of birth experience you have, the last thing you're going to want to do is make sure that you have your placenta in your little like lunchbox and then go drive it to someone's house. Also, the placenta needs to go like straight there. It can't stay, like it can't hang around for a day or two. It really needs to like be as fresh as possible and go to the encapsulation center or go to whoever's doing it soon. So your doula or the woman who does it will come to the hospital, will put the placenta in that little lunchbox refrigerator thing, and make sure as part of your birth plan, you let the nurses and the doctors, if you're having a hospital birth, know that you are doing placenta encapsulation. That was something we had to tell our nurses because otherwise they would take the placenta, right? So it's not like the placenta isn't something that just hangs around. You really need to tell the people in the room, the nurses and the doctors, that you're doing it so that they know someone is coming for the placenta. Someone is going to come and take it. So my doula took the placenta the night I gave birth and drove it and brought it to this woman's house. This woman then sterilized her kitchen. So she explained to me that she does placenta encapsulation in her home, but when she has a client and she knows she's going to be encapsulating that night, she sterilizes the entire kitchen, floor to ceiling, complete sterilization. And then she'll get the placenta. She does a print of the placenta, so that might be something fun to mention to whoever's doing it. If that's not something they offer, maybe ask and see if that's something they can do. She gave us a print. So what she did was I don't really know how placenta printing goes, but she somehow made a print of the placenta on a piece of paper on a parchment and then rolled it up for us. So we have a little print of the placenta. And I mean, listen, like I don't hang it up and I don't envision myself ever hanging it up, but I thought it was cute and like a nice like part of the entire package. So I guess after the print is done, she dehydrates the placenta. Now, I don't know how she dehydrated the placenta. I don't know how that works. I'm guessing it's like how you would dehydrate anything, like dehydrated fruit, I don't know, anything else. I could be wrong, but ask whoever is going to do your dehydration, like how that process works. She dehydrates the placenta and then she grounds it up, and then she puts it into little pills, like little tiny pills that just look like your normal everyday pills. And then she delivered it to us in a little mason jar. I thought it was so adorable, so cute. And she also gave to us, besides the placenta pills and the print, she also had a piece of the umbilical cord and dehydrated that and made it into a little heart. Again, not something I'm going to be hanging up in my house, but I thought it was really cute, very sentimental, and like just part of the package. So yeah, I was given the capsules in this really cute little jar. To begin with, I took the little daily doses right at the top of the container. For the first 4 days, I took 2 capsules 3 times a day. From day 5 to 14, I took 2 capsules 2 times a day, and days 14 onward, 1 capsule 2 times a day. So I am now 7 weeks postpartum. I've been taking 1 capsule in the morning and 1 capsule at night. And the little capsules look just like this. I'll show you. The little capsules, I don't know if it'll focus. But yeah, it's just a small little pill. It almost looks like dirt in pill form. And they're really easy to take. They have a tiny bit of a smell, but it's nothing that bothered me. If you've been taking like vitamins and pills all your life, then I think it wouldn't be an issue. If the smell, I don't think, will bother you. If you're pretty sensitive to smells, then I would just say hold your nose when you take the pill. So yeah, that was the placenta encapsulation. Oh, I should also mention that the entire placenta encapsulation was $300. So I know that's not cheap and it's a lot of money, but for me, I personally felt like it was really worth it. I felt like the idea of taking those nutrients and them sort of helping heal my body, but also transferring them to my baby was 1000% worth it. Even though I couldn't feel the difference or I couldn't feel any sort of major change, again, just like vitamins, I figured, you know what, this is something that means a lot to me. And even though it may, to each his own, it might not mean a lot to you, and that $300 might sound like a lot to spend on that, but it's a totally voluntary thing. You don't have to do it. And I just figured, you know what, it was in our budget. It was something that we really wanted to make part of the entire experience, and so we did. And yeah, I am, again, just going back to like the benefits, I didn't suffer from postpartum depression or postpartum anxiety, and someone had asked once if I thought the pills helped with that. And I'm not a doctor, and I definitely had moments, like so normal, after I gave birth where I felt overwhelmed and just like the world just felt like too much, and I had my days where I cried and it just felt like it was too hard. But I was able to let those emotions come, and then they went, and I felt fine. But I can't say that I didn't have postpartum anxiety or postpartum depression as a result of taking the placenta pills. So I don't want to falsely say that like, oh, taking these pills are gonna like stabilize your hormones or just make you feel better. No, I don't know that, and I don't know if there's any research that supports that at all. But that was just something that someone had mentioned, and I wanted to address that because although I didn't experience those things, I can't necessarily attribute I can't attribute not having those negative feelings and negative emotions to taking the placenta pills. Okay guys, that's everything. If you think of anything or if you have any questions about placenta encapsulation that I didn't touch on, definitely leave them down in the comments below and I will get back to you. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you have any other questions regarding my birthing experience, doulas, midwives, whatever, again, leave those down in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I will talk to you all really soon. Bye guys!